Hi, I'm doing a re-review. I first reviewed this Doppelganger Treehouse Double IPA 2.5 years ago and really liked it. And that was actually brewed at the old little brewery in Munson. This one I got in Charlton, and I had a couple sips of it, and it seemed like it was pretty darn good. Doppelganger has always seemed to be really good every batch I've gotten. I know there's been some inconsistencies at the new big brewery. So this one is from November 13th, so that is exactly 16 days old. It's 8.2% alcohol, and they call this the big version of Alter Ego. And Alter Ego uses Amarillo and Mosaic hops, so I'm assuming that's what's in this one. Seems to be about right. So let us jump into it. This has always seemed to be the most intense IPA that I get from them. It's been a little better than some of the batches of haze I've had. That's their other standard double IPA that you see a lot. And this is also a little bit darker than haze in some of their other double IPAs. Like I got very green, and that one was very, very pale, but also very nice. And it's pretty darn hazy. This is kind of a wide glass. I've noticed that some of these cans I got this time had some of the haze kind of settle on the bottom, not necessarily in lots of chunks, but I guess I sort of swirled this can around. But when I poured Bright from the latest batch I had, the first pour was completely clear, but as you pour the bottom, it got really hazy again. But that is looking very nice. Really, really nice, thick, dense head with some big soapy bubbles, but I can tell it's going to last a long time. I'm expecting this to be very, very nice. Yeah, that's good. Really big on the peach. Peach and really sweet citrus, which seem to be the hallmarks of Mosaic and Amarillo, at least to my taste buds. And so intense that it kind of overtakes their really, really big, flavorful yeast profile. I'm not noticing as much of the estery, fruity, almost vanilla-like, interesting yeasty notes that I get in a lot of their single IPAs and pale ales. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of ripe, very, very ripe peaches, but also a little bit of canned peaches. Seems like it's going to be a little bit sweet, but smells very, very, very juicy. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, if you've had Doppelganger a million times and you go to the brewery and you're like, oh, do I need more Doppelganger? I always get some more. It seems like it's the most consistent beer I've had from them, besides maybe like green. Whenever I've gotten green, that's been really good too. But it's love how juicy it is, and I love how the yeast is not overwhelming the hops at all. But from these latest batches, they don't seem to be as creamy and fluffy as I'm used to the Treehouse feel being. I'm not sure what that has to do, because they basically have the same taste, and once I pour in the bottom, it has the same look, but it just doesn't effortlessly float on my tongue, but with still a thick, creamy quality. The head is fantastic. The appearance on this beer is perfect. It's a really, really nice feel. A little bit of a chalky texture. It helps to dry it out. It's not too sweet. It does have some luscious, sweet juiciness happening, but it doesn't finish, off dry, kind of like I guess Hurricane and especially Bright. The Brights for me are just too too sweet, even if I like the flavors and aromas. This one, I guess I would say, is well balanced. If you consider the sweetness, the body, the bitterness, the yeasty esters, it all works out really well for me, and the head is still sticking around beautifully. I mean, yeah, it has a really, really nice body. It's just not the heavenly body that I feel like I've experienced with Treehouse. Maybe my tastes have changed. Maybe I've just been having more and more better quality hazy IPAs that have a nicer body. So this body maybe hasn't gotten worse. I'm just used to it more. But I'm not gonna like dock it down or anything. And this has, yeah, pretty good lingering, clean woodsy resin bitterness with a little bit of a grapefruit bitterness to it, but not as much as like Sussa Sap that I also got. That was one of my favorites that I got in this last trip to Treehouse. But I'm pretty glad that this has stayed a fantastic beer. I'm wondering if it's a little bit more bitter than it used to be. I didn't notice the bitterness at first, but now it's kind of building up on my tongue. And it seems like they definitely use a good amount of kettle hops, so the IBUs might be, you know, a little bit high on this one. In addition to the perceived bitterness from just all the dry hopping and all the haziness, but you know, I'm still a huge fan of Doppelganger. Maybe I won't give it a 4.75 like I did for that first batch that I got from Munson back in the day, but I would give this, yeah, easy 4.5 plus. It is a very nice beer. Goodbye.